Up close tonight, a life so tumultuous, filled with highs and lows, triumphs and tragedies, we couldn't squeeze it into one broadcast. Up close again tonight, movie producer and former studio executive Robert Evans, who was chosen from relative obscurity at the age of 36 to head Paramount Studios in the 1960s. Evans quickly brought that struggling company from last place to first through the shrewd acquisitions of scripts that became classic and profitable films. Along the way, he made many friends and maybe even more enemies. 4 years ago, while pitching a project to director Wes Craven, Evans suffered a massive stroke.
I fell on the floor and I heard Ella Fitzgerald in the background singing "It's a Wonderful World." And when the ambulance came to take me away, the two guys in the ambulance said, "Hey, we better get this guy over to see this before he's DOA." And they put on the siren. I see the white light. And 15 hours later, I awaken. I'm looking up in the sky, and I see white. I thought, hey, maybe I made heaven. Well, I didn't die. I didn't make heaven. But I came out Quasimodo. I was totally paralyzed.
Well, Evans obviously survived and recently invited my Nightline colleague Don Daler to his Beverly Hills home to talk about, among other things, being dead, literally, figuratively, and professionally.
And Robert Evans would be the first to admit that he had committed professional suicide a few times. When he published his autobiography in 1994, it was to explain the scandals of his life to his and his fourth wife, Ally McGraw's son, Josh. That book, The Kid Stays in the Picture, has become a surprise hit at Cannes and other festivals as a documentary movie. He offered to show it to us, as he often does during screenings of movies at his Beverly Hills home, a few of which I've been privy to in the past when I lived in Los Angeles. Evans carried on a running commentary. How has it been since '98, since the stroke?
Well, for a few years, it was very difficult because I was going into terrible training. I had physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. I was Quasimodo. I said, I'm going to win. I'm not going to give up. And the pain of going through those therapies, like being Auschwitz. Imagine after 7 months I couldn't hold a fork, it would drop out of my hand. I still, to this day, when I get up, I have to count heel toe, to walk, to get my rhythm back. Because once your artery closes in your brain, it never opens again. Unlike the heart, you have to find alternative routes. And the doctors told me for certain I'd be a wheelchair case, maybe a four-pronger, so you get used to living that life. You know something? The doctors know nothing. You know, doctors don't work, they practice.
Mind if I come in a minute? I know I don't look just for the barricades, but I've just come from a revolution. The premiere of The Jazz Singer.
You got to act with Jimmy Cagney.
That was, do you know, Jimmy Cagney was so great with me. I couldn't get a word out of my mouth after 6 takes. I was so nervous. And he takes me outside. He says, let me tell you something, I'm only 5'4". The first scene I had was with the guy who was 6'3". When the scene was over, I'm 6'3", he's 5'4". So don't be scared of me. Come on out, let's get it on. And that's what did it.
He was generous to you.
Very generous, but he is so sharp. We used to watch dailies all the time, the cast, the crew, and the actors. It's my first experience watching dailies. And he had no expression on his face. Everyone loved him, and I don't know what dailies are. It's new to me. So I walked over and I said, Mr. Cagney, everyone loves what they're watching, but you have no expression on your face. That's right. He said, let me tell you something, kid. He said, dailies are like brides. How come there's so many beautiful brides and ugly wives? And one of the most exciting moments of my life was going to the premiere of the pictures, the Universal's Big Picture. And I went with him, Yankee Doodle Dandy himself, with my mother and my father, my brother and sister. And it was such a proud moment for me because they had taken so much heat from letting their kid be an actor, and a bum actor, and to walk in that night with my mother and father, sister and brother, with Yankee Doodle Dandy. And it was a thrilling night. It was at the Palace Hotel, the Palace Theater in New York.
And you had arrived.
And with Jimmy Cagney, we walked in together. But I made a lot of mistakes as an actor. My ego was big. I turned down everything, and everything I turned down did well. I turned down what you call Murder Incorporated. I didn't have the. I turned it down, and Peter Falk took the part. He never had a part north of 14th Street. He was nominated for an Academy Award for it, and I went on suspension because I didn't think the part was big enough. The most boring part of myself as a human being was the years I spent as an actor in film, because I was that consumed with myself. And the parts that were offered me, the parts that weren't offered me, and all I thought about was all internal. It was just, and that's why many actors are boring, because they're so involved, and they can't help it. It's part of the profession. And we're coming up here now with Rosemary's Baby, and no one wanted to make the picture, and certainly no one wanted Roman Polanski, this Polak, in the picture. I said, if you fire him, I leave too, and I put my job on the line. And resentfully, they went with me. And we turned in magic, as I saw magic in that Polak.
It wasn't just direct, though. You spotted something in this movie that hadn't been done before.
I spotted something that scared the shit out of me, and yet there was no special effects. It's the only picture of its genre that has no special effects at all.
It's the terror in her face.
Terror in her face, and what Roman got from her. And Roman didn't even want to direct it at first. And using Mia caused a lot of problems, both with Sinatra, who wanted my ass, because he was married to Mia. He says, if you stay on the picture, your name ain't Sinatra anymore. And that's when I learned something big. I learned that all my experience, I knew the mind of an actress. And you can see it here, where I take her into the screening room, and I say, Mia, here's an hour of film. You're going to win the Academy Award from this. It's the most extraordinary performance you've ever seen. She said, do you really believe that? And Mia, everyone says that you're a shoo-in to win. Suddenly the name Sinatra didn't mean that much. And was Frank mad? He served the papers right on the set.
He divorced her.
Divorced right in the set. It's all on the film. Right there. He divorced her right on the set. And do you know how long it took to get over it? A week.
Sinatra's not the kind of guy you want to make an enemy, though.
I did. We made up eventually. I didn't care. Didn't care about anything. And that's not necessarily smart. But Mia got over it. It took her a week to get over it. Women get over things a lot faster than men.
With all of the successes and everything that you've gone through, the highs and the lows, there's one thing that, and it comes across in this movie, and that is that you have had some serious moments of loneliness, and I think a lot of people would be surprised by that.
So lonely that I wanted to put my head under the pillow and hope that I wouldn't awaken in the morning. You can't get more lonely than that. If I didn't have a kid, I could very easily have taken something to not make me wake up in the morning. I couldn't do that to my kid. That's how lonely and down I was. The American film is #1 in every country in the world. It's the only product we manufacture in the United States of America. It flies our flag higher than anything we make.
Up Close, brought to you by Chevy Trucks.